So that was my birth, 4 hours total from the start of my active labour, I guess. A few days of the latent phase, on and off. And the placenta came out about 35 minutes later, and it was really easy compared to pushing out a baby. That came out, she breastfed straight away. Bodhi cut the cord, and he was so excited to cut the cord. And then everyone left around midnight. Cassandra and my mum and Gemma all took a car and took the boys home and put the boys to bed, and my mum slept in their room that night. And Mark and I just laid on the bed with our new baby girl, and we cried and we hugged and we just looked at her, and we just couldn't believe that we had this healthy, beautiful little baby, and that she was finally here. And it still feels surreal to us. It really does. And it's just, I don't know if I've ever been so happy in my life. It's been the most amazing week. So yeah, that was the birth. Really fantastic. Such a great positive experience. Birth doesn't have to be scary, even though for me there were moments in the birth that made me think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I really trusted my body's instincts, and I knew we would be able to get through it. And my biggest tips for people who are pregnant is, when those contractions are coming, you've got to just welcome them. Like, I smiled I was smiling through them. And you can trick your body into releasing more oxytocin, and that's something that I learned from all the Ina May Gaskin stuff I did, and some of the other birth stories I read in Spiritual Midwifery is, these women are kind of in this other place, and they're high and they're enjoying it and moving through the contractions, and that's really how I felt. And it was quite interesting to see the difference in the feeling of the contraction once I let fear creep in during the cervical lip, the 40-minute cervical lip, because the contractions felt stronger during that period of time, and just more intense, and almost, they didn't ever feel overwhelming, but they almost did, because I could feel the fear creeping in. And so that's really important, is you are made to do this, and be strong and be confident, and know that you are doing it. You don't say, I can't do it, because you are doing it. You're in it, and it can't be stronger than your body. And I said out loud once, I was like, there are so many other women in the world right now birthing with me. And that made me feel like there was such a strong sense of community, and that we're all in it together, bringing these babies earthside, and I just found that so empowering. Okay, just so this doesn't get way too long, this week has been wonderful. So my baby. So the first day we were exhausted. We got home from the hospital about 5 a.m. And we slept from 5 till 9, but we just kept staring at her. Is she real? Is she breathing? Is she okay? And then the boys got up quite early, so my mum got up with them and we slept in. Then that day was hard, actually, emotionally. Mark started having some real anxiety surrounding her well-being and her health and hygiene, and people wanting to come and visit. And he was just like, I want to be in a cocoon with us and the baby, which is so understandable. And I felt the same way too. But of course, there were people like grandparents and my sister and some of our best friends who did want to swing by. And he just got more and more anxious. We had about 3 different people come and visit us this week at the house, but his anxiety level was getting higher and higher, and he was just like, and I know it was because he was sleep deprived, and but he also shared with me a lot of anxiety he had in the lead up to the birth, and he hadn't shared it with me because he didn't want me to take on any of his feelings and his emotions. So he's just been he's been this ball of anxiety, and I had no idea. And then once she was here, now he's just so worried for her safety. And he is the first to admit that he was like, you know what, it does feel different having a little daughter. It's like, it feels different for me. And people warned me as a father, it's going to feel different. He's like, it does. And I'm confronted by the fact that it feels different. He's like, my overprotection has just gone through the roof. He's like, I don't even know what to do with this feeling. It feels crippling. And so it's so endearing and so beautiful, but it also meant we ended up getting in a couple of fights day 1 and day 2, because I was like in this blissed out state and, really happy to show her off to people and have people hold her and whatever. And he was feeling really overprotective. So, we kind of got snappy with each other for the first 2 days, which was a bummer because we were so elated as well. And I just wanted to enjoy her and just be with her and be with the family but then once we both caught up on sleep, all of a sudden it's just been this love bubble. So from day 2.5 onwards, it's just been all-consuming, obsessive. Mark and I just stare at her. We can't believe it. The boys are so in love, constantly wanting to carry her and pick her up, and she's been sleeping really well. The first night she slept in the snoo for 12 hours. She's doing the eye-rolly thing. She's milk drunk. She slept in the snoo for 12 hours straight, and I didn't wake her up because I knew that my milk came in on day 2, and I knew my milk was coming in. So I was like, oh, she's going to have massive feeds tomorrow and over the next few days. And her birth weight was 7 pound 8, and then she dropped down a little bit. I only know it in kilos. So she was 3.4 kilos, dropped down to 3.22, and then came back up to her birth weight, in a matter of 48 hours or something. So the milk's there. My boobs are huge. They're not engorged though, which is great, but they're very, very, very full with milk, and she's just avid nurser. And for the first day, I would say it was about just making sure the latch was right, because they're a bit lazy at latching. Obviously, they're just brand new and they're trying to figure it out. So the first day, it was working on the latch with her, and we worked on that each time she breastfed, and each time she breastfed during the first day, her latch got stronger and stronger, so I knew that she'd be fine. She did her first meconium poop the moment she hit the water in birth, during the birth, which was hilarious. It was just like meconium poo everywhere. And then it turned into sort of the breast milky nappies by day 2 when my milk came in. And she's been peeing and pooping a lot, tons. We had to get used to the vagina, how to wipe that and which direction to go, and you can't backtrack. You got to just go all down in one swipe. But it's been so great. We've been at night time, we put the boys to bed, and then we stay up with her, and we will watch True Detective together, and all just sit around, and Mark and I just stare at her. We literally just stare at her and talk about her, and she looks like this and she looks like that. I think she has Bodhi's eyes, and the rest of her is Forest. And then she's got this big dimple here, and she's got 2 other little dimples down here. See, I got 2 as well. And she has those 2 dimples, but then she has one up here, which is just so cute. We think she has the Palmer eyes and the dark circles and the bigger eyes. Her head just seems like a head with 2 big eyes on it right now. But she's so sweet, and she has a really high-pitched little cry that Mark's like, it sounds so feminine. I was like, oh, thanks. But she is just gorgeous, and right now she's probably doing 3-hour stretches at night time. And she starts off in the snoo, and then we'll bring her in, and we have a little co-sleeper in the bed, and we're practicing safe co-sleeping. And yeah, so it's just been a really cruisy week. She prefers to be closer to us, but we will sometimes in the middle of the night, like, do a change, because you have to change them in the middle of the night, obviously, and then move her back into the snoo. And that's such an amazing thing. If you don't have it, you should get it. If you're pregnant, you should definitely get it, because it mimics the womb. It makes a sound and it moves and it adjusts accordingly depending on what the baby's doing. And I just love it. It's nice and it feels safe, and it's right next to the bed. What else? Yeah, her belly button fell off today. It's still not totally dry, so it'll dry up and more will flake off, I assume. And then, what else have we been? Oh, my body. Okay, so post-baby cramps are no joke third time round. I felt like I was 5-6 centimeters dilated and having contractions. And the thing with the cramps is they don't just last a minute. Sometimes they'll be 3 minutes. And they're so sporadic. It's every time she nurses, I'll have the cramping. By day 4, they got better. Day 5, they were gone. Day 4 weren't as intense, but day 1, 2, and 3, I was like, this is gnarly. And they would wake me up. I'd go to sleep and then the cramps would be waking me up. And I'd have the cramps throughout the night, just constantly. And so that's a bummer. The cramps suck, but I knew it was bringing my uterus back in, and it was doing all the things it's supposed to be doing. Bleeding has almost stopped. I would say by tomorrow, like a week out, I'll probably be done with bleeding. The cramps were the hardest thing. I didn't even have a paper cut down there, as my midwife said to me. She was like, not even a paper cut. So that has all healed up perfectly fine, feels back to normal. But yeah, the hardest thing was definitely the cramps, and that's gone now, and I feel like it's not so debilitating now. I feel pretty much back to my old self. I mean, I'm a little bit achy. My hips are a little bit achy maybe. But really not bad at all. I won't get into postpartum weight, because I feel like then women feel this pressure to drop a lot of weight, and everyone's body's different. Everyone's body reacts differently to breastfeeding. That I just don't think I need to talk about how much weight I've lost, or how much I haven't lost. Because then we get into these states of comparison as well. Well, so-and-so lost this much by this many days postpartum, and I don't think that's healthy. So I'm not going to really touch upon that, although I will say my body's very squishy. I've been wearing SRC recovery shorts, which are great, and they go all the way up to the belly, and they help you just feel supported again, because I really obviously have no ab muscles left. Yeah, my boobs are ginormous. But yeah, so my body feels really good, considering I pushed a baby out less than a week ago. And yeah, sleep has been great. She's definitely been sleeping a lot during the day. I think today I tried to feed her a little bit more. I'll see if it makes a difference. She originally loved being swaddled. Then she went through 2 nights where she didn't like being swaddled, and now she's back to liking being swaddled. So it's just figuring out what she likes and what she doesn't like. I'm going to try her again in a swaddle tonight. And we've done a couple of outings out. We went to this forest festival for the kids, and that was great. We just kept her in a little bugaboo pram, and she just slept and nursed and then slept again. And it's cool. Today I took all 3 of them out on my own. We went to the park, and we met up with Kat, my daughter, and her daughter Rose, and stayed at the park for a few hours, and I felt legit. I was like, I've got 3 kids. And that went really well. Just kept her on the boob and kept her away from people, really. Kept her on mummy. And it's so beautiful. We feel really blissed out. So I will get back to you next week and I'll let you know if it's still going well or not. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Mwah.